Everyone, Glenn Sanford here, founder and CEO of eXp Realty, and also the host of the Expansion podcast, where we talk about personal and professional development here at eXp Realty. And today, I'm honored to have DeLisa Rose, agent in Texas, also doing some expansion into some other markets. But she is with us today to just talk about her journey in real estate. I think hey, welcome, DeLisa.
Welcome to me. Thank you so much. Thank you, Glenn. I'm just like, oh my gosh, do you see this man right here? Do you know who this is? I'm so honored. I'm so honored and inspired by just what you've done with this company, all that you are, and just that you care enough to take the time to do this weekly for not just your internal agents, but the agents in the world and the industry. And you are an amazing man, an amazing leader. And I'm just so touched to be speaking with you right now.
Well, thank you for the kind words. I sincerely appreciate them, and I still think of myself as just an agent who's just expanded a really big team. So it's for me, I work, like a lot of people in EXP. I'm work entirely remote from my home office, and it's kind of fun to work on this every day. So now, DeLisa, maybe I think you've been in the business. Maybe at least my notes have it that you've been in the business since 1998. But maybe you could just tell me a little bit about your career in real estate.
Yeah, a little bit before then. I got into real estate over 25 years ago. So I got licensed in Texas in 1993 while I was on maternity leave. But I started in community and economic development. I was a city planner, and I had the intention on building master plan communities in low to moderate income areas. And from there, I said, you know what? The city was taking too long. The governments were taking too long. Politics was taking too long. I said, let me get my real estate license so I don't have to ask anybody for a key or access or anything. And had a baby, decided I didn't want to go back to work. Got my license, as I said, on maternity leave, and quit my job and said, oh my gosh, what did I just do? And my first 4 months in real estate in my mid-20s, I made $119,000. A couple months later, $78,000, and it was on and cracking since then. So 25 years later, well, 1993 in Texas, and now this year is 2022. But I've had multiple Hall of Fame awards, Lifetime Achievement Award, and in 2019, I was selected by the National Association of Realtors as the most inspiring realtor. And through all of that, and even owning my RE/MAX franchise, I did not begin to live life until I joined DXP. So thank you again.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations on making the impact that you've made. It sounds like that's been part of your mission, is making an impact and making a difference. Now you were actually even recognized by Oprah Winfrey. How did that come about, and what was that experience like?
I'm a philanthropist, and I'm a big supporter of a pantry called Minnie's Food Pantry in Oakland, and a woman by the name of Cheryl Action Jackson, and her mission is to feed the hungry and eliminate poverty. That's a mission that I have as well. And she had did a gala, and I contributed significantly to that gala, $50,000. And Oprah was honored. And then later we spent her birthday with her and had a private conversation there, and she just touched me. And I guess she was very impressed by my stuff too. But beautiful soul. So yeah, on a couple of occasions. So 3 at this time. I've met her about 3 times. So.
Okay. Oh, wow. Now, I know that Debbie's like, she's like in awe of Oprah. So just the fact that you met her 3 times, she's like, I want to meet Oprah. So anyway, so what ultimately led you on your journey? It sounds like maybe RE/MAX, KW, Berkshire Hathaway, independent broker. Where have you been? Where have you hung your license? And what have you learned along the way, just in terms of brokerages? What ultimately led you to EXP, I guess, as well?
I think I went through the regular evolution of real estate that every realtor goes through. And unfortunately, anybody who's not with EXP right now, they just don't realize uh, the journey that they're on and the journey that they're probably not on, because where they're at, there's no exit. EXP is the first company that actually allows us to retire. So going back a little bit, you remember the mascot of the real estate lady? She was the old lady in pearls, and that was usually
Oh, yeah, yeah,
the old lady in pearls, because you can't retire so from real
right.
estate outside of this model. But what I have found that going through the evolution of real estate, as I call it, started, you're trying to be more successful. You start a team, you hire assistants, you get a buyer's agent, then you grow a team, you close the team, you grow another team. You say, okay, well, let me become a broker. Okay, well, then you're a broker. You realize that that's harder. Then you go, let me buy a franchise. And then you realize that, oh no, that's the biggest mistake you can make. And then you begin to buy property and deal with tenants, but you're really ultimately trying to find freedom. But as you become more successful in real estate, you're really losing your freedom because you're putting in more time. You have more responsibilities. You have more financial responsibility and even legal responsibilities if you're a broker. And you get to a point where you're like, I want to travel. I want to be free. I want my weekends. I don't want to take calls at 11 o'clock at night from troubled agents. I don't want to remind people that they have to renew their licenses and take their classes. I don't want to do all these things that, to be honest, Lynn, you guys do for us. But you're looking for a life. You're looking for a life. So I purchased a Remax franchise, if I could say that. And not just did I purchase one, I
Yeah,
made the mistake and I purchased two. I had a title company and a mortgage company and, just all of this in order to achieve this thing called success, right? And all the books said I was successful, but I was absolutely miserable. Glenn, I was absolutely miserable. The relationship, the children weren't getting my time. And I even ended up in ICU. So the same year that I had achieved lifetime earnings, Hall of Fame award, I ended up in ICU and could not move half my body, paralyzed from half my body. And as I thought about the children, my kids, I thought about my kids because you're about to die. That's all you think about. And
right.
every memory that I had, I remembered. Every member of the children that I had, I apologize, was convoluted with real estate stuff. My kid had a soccer game. I missed the first kick because there was a call. My daughter's prom, there was a busted deal and an irate agent, and every memory was convoluted with work. And I realized that I had spent my life working, trying to create a life for them, and I didn't get to enjoy them. I wasn't present. And I ended up, as I said, buying the franchise. And I had about 2.5 more years left in it and said there has to be a better way. EXP had been introduced to me years earlier, a couple years earlier, and I passed on it because it was too different. It was like, okay, let's see
Right.
how it goes. And many people are more comfortable in familiar dysfunction, than they are in the successful opportunity of an unknown. But I ended up just cutting the umbilical cord and I said, this stuff is for the birds. I'd rather be happy and healthy. If I lose, I cut the cord with a Remax and joined DXP and said, if it doesn't work, I'll be happy and healthy. But
Right.
as long as I work it, it will work. And that's true for anything. Anything can work if you work it. But I chose to be successful in life, and successful with my time, and chose to have real freedom. And EXP allows that. We're no geographical boundaries. You can recruit unlimited, and you don't have to deal with the headache, because the headache of agents, the headache of teams, the headache of any of that, because EXP brings in so much support, and the tiers, the layers that
Awesome.
you have, everybody is just supportive. So I'm sorry, I know there's so much
You
that I could say about EXP, so I was probably rambling.
Well, I think it leads into, I think you have a motto, which is, work to live, don't live to work. Um, and one of the things that I've talked about quite a bit is that most of us in real estate, we're sold on the idea that we have a real estate business, which means that we, in theory, own a real estate business, but in reality, that business owns us. Because if we don't show up, we're not doing the work, which makes sense. I mean, somebody's got to actually meet with clients, do the business, etc. And it is a continuum from getting into production, putting food on the table, roof over the head kind of exercise. But in most systems that are out in real estate, you're not able to sort of move from the activities that do that to making an impact on a larger scale, and for that matter, be as much around the people that you love and care about. I always called real estate the most inconvenient business for people that you care about. It pays well, but it's very, very inconvenient for those people, because you do have to do the business, and there is a bit of a rite of passage, because you have to go through that in order to get to the other side. But if the systems and the processes and the company you're associated with, once you get to the other side, isn't there, you get stuck in the hamster wheel. And so, of course, the idea was to basically create something where the business could serve your needs versus you having to serve the business's needs. So those are phrases I use quite a bit. Is the purpose of a business is to serve the needs of the owner. If it's not serving your needs, then the business isn't structured properly. So what are all those elements? So it sounds like you went through that journey and really introspectively looked at and asked critical questions along the way, which are so important. What was the phrase I think you used, which was people would rather deal with the dysfunction that they know,
Familiar
something
dysfunction.
like
Mm-hmm.
familiar
Yeah.
dysfunction, and that's super powerful. How many people would rather quote unquote deal with the devil they know than to potentially move to a world where the devil doesn't even exist?
That's
Um,
right.
and-
It's insanity. That's what's called insanity.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, for
But
sure. So
yeah.
now you did a solid, really solid business, like 2-year icon with
Mhm.
EXP, been really been doing well. How do you build your business? What's your lead generation strategy? Is it all repeat referral? Is it do you take on new clients? What does your business look like in terms of how you operate?
You know, uh, you might hate this, but I'm so old school. I am so old school. Um, I'm not big on social media, the YouTubers, the gram, whatever you call that stuff, building the funnel. You know, I'm not big on it. I am old school referrals and teaching people that you have leads. You just have to reach out to the ones you know and have, and that's truly, truly it. So I'm prospecting, and teach others to prospect. We really, that's really it. I mean, simple
Well,
prospecting.
what's your number one prospecting strategy?
Reach out to people and ask for the business. So there's I had the honor of doing this course in the BEN Black EXP network, teaching people how to do 30 contracts or get 30 potential leads ready to contract in 30 days. and I don't even know if we have the time, but the biggest part is knowing your database. A lot of agents don't even have a database or don't have it all together, don't know how many people are in it, don't know what to do. Any business is a database. Any business is a database, and you guys are teaching that through conversion, which every EXP agent gets conversion as part of our package. But knowing your database isn't just having the leads in there, but reaching out to them, and figuring out what are their real estate goals. Are they wanting to invest? When are they going to make the next move? What's their credit score? What's their, do they have a savings to purchase a home? But actually knowing your customer, right? They teach that in basic business school. Using technology to be able to connect quicker and easier. In my day, we had to call 1, hang up, 2, hang up, 3. Now you can use a dialer. Now you can send a mass text to every single person in your database in less than 2 minutes. You can send an automated voicemail to everybody in your database in less than 2 minutes. And you can also send a survey to everybody in your database in less than 5 minutes. So I train people to use the text messaging, use the audio voicemails, use your survey to survey everybody, ask the important questions so that you know who's hot, who's not. And then know that in this world, with everything being on social media, with all these impressions that we get, you have to be best, better, or different. You have to be best, better, or different. So you can't be just that agent that says, hey, I'm the agent that wants to help you buy a house. Hey, I'm your realtor for life. No, what's going to set you apart? What makes you the agent that somebody wants to use? And then once you understand what your offer is, promote that offer. So through the BEN course that I told everybody, hey, let everybody know that, well, use an example of something I did. In 2019, I promoted that I was giving away $219,000 to homeowners. The following year, 2020, I said, hey, I'm giving away up to $500,000. So if you buy, sell, or invest in a property, with me, you can get a portion of this. Well, that in itself got a lot of attention, right? And yes, I would give a credit on the HUD if it was allowed of up to $1,000 to everybody who bought, sold, or invested with me. Well, if I'm able to give away 219,000 or 500,000 to these buyers, sellers, or investors, think of how much you could actually make. Well, that ad in itself is something that's best, better, different than what everyday people are seeing. So if realtors would come up with an offer to, their sphere of influence, their social media audience, their YouTube audience, it would generate leads. But here's the biggest thing. The fortune is in the follow up and follow through. Many people have leads, but they don't convert them. Many people don't follow up with them consistently. And then when they do, they usually don't follow through. So if you can follow up and follow through in contact and know your database, that's pretty much it. There's one other important thing that I must say. The biggest thing that I think people can do, agents and any entrepreneur, in order to be successful, I tell people you have to get out your own way. In order to be successful, I'll say it again, get out of your own way. So in order to do that, spend every day working on personal development. How could you be better today than you were yesterday? And what do you need to do tomorrow to be better? If you know that you procrastinate, deal with it. If you know that you're bad at time management, you're not bad at time management. You can't manage time. You're bad at self-discipline. Figure it out. If you know that you need to be a morning person and you're not, what do you need to do? So the biggest thing that you could do to be successful is learn what you need to do to get out of your own way, because you're the only person stopping you from being successful.
Right. So one thing, just want to note here, obviously you shared a number of strategies there. A lot of them had to do with, how do you sort of automate your follow-up? And, one of the things is to make sure that whatever you do, and this is really for people who might listen to this and not understand the context of doing this, when you do, use different tools, you do need to make sure that they comply with with consumer protection laws. So whether it be do not call list, whether it be the TCPA, the Telecommunications Consumer Protection Act, and that type of thing. So when you think about using dialers and leaving voicemails and those things, you do need to make sure, because we just paid a $10 million settlement, just so you know. I mean, this is a big deal. But if you use those and you're not using them in a compliant way, it puts you and your business at risk, and to some extent the company at risk. So we've got a lot of now new compliance training specifically around that. But I just wanted to point that out mainly because people might go, well, I'm going to do this auto dialer thing and not understand that that you need to do it in a way that complies with the law. And the fines and the expenses at the agent level would literally put agents out of business, and bankrupt them, quite frankly, if they don't do it compliantly. So just wanted to make sure that we
put that disclaimer in there for sure. and remember,
Yeah.
just for clarity, I'm old school. So when I say reaching out and contacting your database, I'm really referring to the people that are in your database, in your sphere, in your circle. I don't even really believe in buying leads and buying lists and doing all of that. There's enough people that you have. Many people just need 24 deals a year, 36 deals a year. So you don't need 20,000 buyers. You really just can start with the ones you have. And until you start creating your schedule, mastering your business with what you have, you don't really have to jump level one. Start at level one.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is awesome. And I think that agents are going to get a ton out of this. What would be one last piece of advice? And we only have about 1 or 2 minutes left here. But what's one piece of advice that you could give to an EXP agent? What would it be?
There's so much, but to an EXP agent, get connected. Get connected. Many EXP agents are sitting in the I don't know what to do stage, and they're not connecting. There's a ton of resources well beyond the person that sponsored you. Connect. Take advantage of all of the training. Put yourself on a schedule to commit to watching one training. Attend your state broker meetings on Tuesdays or whatever date it is in your local state. And, get connected. Get connected. So again, get out of your own way.
Awesome. Well, DeLisa, thank you so much for taking time. Super excited to get this podcast out. You can find DeLisa on Instagram at Ask DeLisa Rose. And also you can find her website at delisarose.com. So a lot of great content. I love this episode. Love the way that you present, the way that you think. You're a deep thinker, and I think a lot of people are going to be inspired. So with that, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so very, very much, Lynn. And I just will say that Ask DeLisa Rose is more than just an IG handle. It really means Ask DeLisa Rose. So if there's any agents out here, we are all family, we are all team. And I would love to be able to support you. So don't hesitate to give me a call, give me a DM, give me an email, ask me anytime. I'm here for you guys. And thank you so much, Glenn. Thank you for what you do.
Awesome.